Indian wrestlers, the black wrestlers, and Russians, what's been the best athletes you've ever seen?
Well, that's a tough question. I think you can find the best in almost any race, any creed. With a Latin sitting here, I got to tell you, probably the best wrestler is a Latin. But if you look at Indians, I mean, if you look at Chief Wahoo McDaniel or the Strongbows, you're seeing people who reached obviously major titles.
Right.
If you look at blacks, you're certainly looking at Doom, who are the current NWA World Tag Team Champions. So the bottom line is, if you look at minorities in the sport of wrestling, while they might be somewhat limited, if you look at Russians, I mean, you look at Nikita Koloff. Ivan Koloff was a WWF champ. Nikita was U.S. champ and TV champ and what have you. And you can go on and on. Nikolai Volkov had spent millions of years in the WWF. All of these Russians, blacks, whatever it might be, have all attained a certain level. And it would be real difficult for me on the spur of the moment to say which was the best of the best.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, we thank you for calling.
Take care.
All right, take care. All right, we're going to go out to Chief Charlie in New York. We're getting somebody from New York. Holy mackerel, you're on 610 WIP.
Oh, Goodhart, give me a break. You know who this is.
Yo, it's Chief.
Yo, what's happening?
Man, what's happening?
I'm doing great. Look, I'm listening to you, and you're on this soapbox about your boyfriends now. That's a change of pace.
Whoa.
It's a good thing they're not in the WWF, or you'd probably ban them for life.
Well, I'll tell you something. I don't know about you, but, I have always held professional athletes at a certain esteem level. I've always been a fan of sports, whether it be baseball, football, hockey, soccer, whatever it might be, and obviously professional wrestling. And for the most part, professional wrestlers have to be quality people outside the ring as well as inside the ring. And I realize that their schedules are difficult. Now I can back me up on this. Sometimes the travel will just get to you. But when you make a commitment to appear at a telethon for handicapped kids, and the only thing more important than that to you is having a couple of beers, taking a ride down to Baltimore to party at the Safari Club down there, then I've got a major question about the integrity of those individuals.
Well, you seem to have forgotten about those two guys from the wild side. But anyway, a couple of things right quick.
Yeah.
Over the past couple of weeks, I've been hearing you guys talk a lot about, the WWF and what they've been doing. And something that seems to have been overlooked is no one is going to be able to shame the WWF into caring that they're making a mess of things from a political and social standpoint, mainly because their audience still has an average age of about 10 or 11. And those kids aren't going to understand until they're much older about, say, something like the horrors of war or that people are going to die, etc.
Chief, I got to tell you something. I have two boys, 10 and 8, and you know why they understand? Because they have a parent who explains it to them. And every child out there who buys a pay-per-view, or every child who goes to the Spectrum or wherever to watch this stuff, has a parent who pays for them. Okay? And that's the job of the parents in society, is to explain these things. Now, just as I have an opinion, obviously other parents have an opinion, and they might just say, hey, it's not worth talking about and just kind of push it on the rug. That's what parents are for. I know I explain it to my kids what my opinion is. Whether they agree or disagree, they're at that age where they're going to make up their own minds, but Daddy's going to tell them a thing or two. And that's what parents are for.
Well, not only that, Joe, but if you think about it, Chief, you're using the country's war, our men out there fighting, losing their lives, to make money.
Yep.
That's what Vince McMahon is doing.
Well, Mr. Perez, I'm very aware of that because Joe can tell you later, I'm a newspaper man and I edit the war package every day.
Yeah, so you know where we're coming from on
Oh,
that.
absolutely. And a quick question for you. I've been a fan of yours for quite a while, and I've kind of been baffled as to understand why you never became, big in the limelight in the major organizations. And I saw you wrestle on one of Joel's cards last year, and I was very impressed, and so was a buddy that went with me. And we're wondering if you even, care in your heart about how big you are, or if you just enjoy, the performance of your craft.
Well, I enjoy it as a sport. When I got to the WWF, it seemed to take the sport away from me. With the NWA, it's always been more physical. It's always been more of a sport. That's what I'm an athlete. I've always been an athlete. I have very few fans out there as far as fans because of the image that I project or whatever. But I enjoy it as a sport, and sure, I'd like to be the Hulk Hogan of professional wrestling, but I'm going to make it on my own name.
Okay, well,
all right, Chief, well, we thank you for calling.
Thanks, Jim.
And keep in touch.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care. And I know Chief will be ringside at Winter Challenge 2. Again, tickets on sale, 745-8315 if you want to see Al Perez here in Philadelphia. March 2nd at the Philadelphia Civic Center of Pennsylvania Hall. We'll be right back with more of Al Perez in Rasslin Radio.
610 WIP.
The Honky Tonk Man is coming to the Squared Circle Saturday, February 16th, 12 noon at the Philadelphia Original Sports Bar. Our luncheon series continues with former WWF star, The Honky Tonk Man. Be there to hear his story about his rising stardom in the WWF and why he's left. Be there for the Honky Tonk Man, Saturday, February 16th, the Philadelphia Original Sports Bar, 12 noon. Dial 745-8315 for reservations for the Honky Tonk Man at the Philadelphia Original Sports Bar. All right, Pete's Place. You know, if you want a photo of Al Perez at Winter Challenge 2, if you want a guy who took a great picture, Pete's Place got the shot. 462-4215. If you're looking for gifts, if you're looking for pictures, this guy puts pictures on clocks. He puts it on. He's got puzzles now. You can have a puzzle of your favorite photo and chop it up in a million pieces and put the photo together. Lex Ortiz is already smiling, and there you can, lo and behold, put together a puzzle of Al Perez. But Pete's Place, 462-4215. This guy has everything. If you're looking for gifts, if you're a wrestling fan, this guy has 30,000 photos in stock. You got to see it. It's located in South Philadelphia, and if you're looking just to buy a photo, whether it's a 3x5 or 4x6 or 8x10 or blow it up to a poster by 20 by 30, Pete's Place has got it. Pete is at all the cards that TWA has. He's at all our events, and I got to tell you, in fact, Pete will be at the Honky Tonk Lunch next Saturday. If you're looking for some great photos, Pete's Place got it. 462-4215. Give him a call. He's home right now. You just pick up the phone, and he'll say, "What are you calling so early for?" And you tell him what you're calling for. He gets all excited because the guy just loves to make money. 462-4215 is the number to call for Pete's Place for the best in wrestling photos. If you're a business owner and you're looking to attract new customers, how better to do it than to have a professional wrestler make a personal appearance at your business? Dial 745-8315 and arrange to speak to Joel Goodhart about arranging a professional wrestler at your business. If you're having a grand opening or a special sale, or you're just looking to attract new customers, a personal appearance by a professional wrestler, 745-8315. Call now. We've promised it for a long time. The Squared Circle has finally made arrangements to be in Tokyo, Japan for the NWA Supercard at the Tokyo Egg Dome. We'll be leaving for Japan on Saturday, March 16th, returning to Philadelphia Friday, March 22nd. Spend a week in Japan with the Squared Circle. 745-8315 for information details for Japan and the Squared Circle. We're going back to Tennessee. That's right, it's our 5th annual Tennessee tour. Friday, July 5th through Tuesday, July 9th. Reservations are limited, so call now. 745-8315 as we tour the USWA in Tennessee. Be there Friday, July 5th through Tuesday, July 9th. That's Tennessee Tour 91, our 5th annual trip to Tennessee. 745-8315 as we head south to Tennessee.
The sports soap opera never stops. All day, every day. 610 WIP. All Sports Radio.
You're talking sports, WIP.
All right, we're back here at 610 WIP's Rasslin Radio. I do want to make one very important announcement before we go back to the phones, and also Al Perez here in the studio. As I mentioned last week, the TWA has finally gotten on television. We got a station out in Berks County Cable. Channel 41 on Berks Community Television will be on Tuesday evening, March 5th. Our pilot will be from 5 to 6 p.m., so for everyone out there, get your VCR set for Tuesday, March 5th, 5 to 6. We'll have more details next week. We're even going to try to arrange to have a live studio audience, so if a couple of you want to take a ride up to Reading, we'll be able to put something together. The TWA goes to television, Berks Community Television, Channel 41 on Berks County Cable, and of course we'll be popping up on other cable systems as we get this thing going, but the TWA is taking another step in going on to television. We'll have a great show. But when people hear what we're going to be doing, it's going to be really neat. But again, more details as the weeks come up. Again, in the studio, Al Perez, Latin Heartthrob, one of the stars of Winter Challenge 2, coming up Saturday, March 2nd. We go back to the telephones. We'll go to Eric in Ardmore. You're on 610 WIP.
How you doing, Joe?
All right, how you doing?
Yeah, I had a question for Al, but first, I don't know what it is, Joe, but we always seem to disagree.
Hey, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, you thought the Clash was pretty bad.
Yeah, it's like me and my ex-wife.
I actually thought it was pretty good. And
okay.
About this card at the Civic Center,
yeah.
I usually, as much as I talk about the NWA, I usually don't get down there, but I did get down because of, I thought Zbyszko was going to be there, and the main event I thought was good. But other than that, Joe, I thought the card was very, very draggy.
Well, you know, it's funny. I didn't get to watch the card as much as people tell me afterwards that they enjoyed the show. Larry Zbyszko, I don't know where he was. He did not show in Baltimore the night before, so I don't know if he's in or if he's not in. It seemed like a lot of people enjoyed the Steiners match. A lot of people enjoyed the final matches. The NWA is finally going to one card per night, so you're no longer having this split card where you get half the talent up here and half the talent down there. But you would think that a match with Flair and Vicious against Sting and Luger would certainly draw more than 1,900 people.
Yeah, I'd have to say Luger is the future. I mean, from what I saw of that match, Flair is still the champion. But I think he's pretty much dominant over Vicious, and I think Sting, well, he can be flushed.
Well, you know, I've said on the radio a million times, I think that Luger is on the wrong side of the aisle. I think Luger is the proverbial bad guy. I think that Sid Vicious is the proverbial good guy. But the NWA now is going through some changes, and I don't know if those are going to be part of the changes, but the bottom line is they better start drawing more than 1,900 people in the city. The next card they have is March 30th, and interestingly enough, as it turns out, we're the only wrestling in town between now and March 2nd, so if you want to see some good wrestling, just come on down to the Civic Center March 2nd.
I have tickets. And Al Perez.
Yes.
Yeah, how you doing?
Oh, great.
I saw you at the Autumn Armageddon in a tag team match. I was just curious, who's your favorite tag team partner of all time?
Well, I've been through a few partners. One that I learned quite a bit from was the Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez. Mm-hmm. And Austin Idol has his good points and bad points, and we seem to make a pretty good team. We probably end up getting back together sometime.
All righty.
All right, we thank you for calling.
Bye.
All right, take care. Yeah, we'll take some responsibility for putting the heartthrobs together. All right, we go to the phones, and Jim, let's see. Jim, you're on 610 WIP's Rasslin Radio. Hello, Jim. Is Jim there?
Your guest there. I got a little something to say about the guy who's there in your studio misrepresenting himself, Joe Goodhart.
Is this Jim Cornette?
Well, this may or may not be. I got something to say about false advertising. I got something to say about the guy sitting there calling himself the Latin heartthrob. Everybody knows that the only heartthrob in professional wrestling is Sweet Stan Lane, the gangster of love. Everybody realizes that.
Everybody knows this big mouth on the other side of the radio.
Yeah.
Well, all you got to do is get down here to the studio. We'll take care of it right now. Bring Stan Lane with you.
Let me tell you something. If I was there in that crummy town, for one thing, I wouldn't be up at this time of the morning listening to this radio station. I'd be doing more important things. But I'll tell you something, Al Perez.
What would you be doing, Jim? Come on, what would you be doing other than running your mouth?
I'd be donating to the homeless fund for all your wetback friends. That's
in other words, you want more money for yourself.
You phony Latin lover boy.
In other words, you want more money for yourself, the homeless.
Yeah, let me tell you something. Everybody knows Sweet Stan Lane has got the hearts of all the women all across the country. He goes out with more women. As a matter of fact, he's got more women hanging on to his call waiting than you've been out with in the past.
Stan Lane's got my rejects. That's all Stan has is my rejects. Stan Lane couldn't hold a candle to me, buddy.
Oh, come on. If I woke up next to something like you wake up to next to every morning, I'd chew my arm off at the shoulder just to keep from waking the beast up.
Jim, you would like to wake up to anybody next to you in your arm.
Yeah, well, hey, Joel, have you checked this guy to make sure, besides the fact that he's not a heartthrob, he's not a lover boy like he thinks he is, he's a cheap second-rate Julio Iglesias, have you checked to make sure that he ain't dripping all over your floor there in the studio?
Yeah, I'm checking it all out. In fact, now that you mention it, I'm checking it again.
Jim, let me tell you something.
On Al Perez, he swum the river from Juarez, Mexico into El Paso. He's been working as a waiter in a Mexican restaurant for the past 6 years.
Okay, Jim, keep running your mouth. Keep running your mouth. Because let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull every string I can just to get that match over with. I'm going to see if we get on first. That's how excited you get me right now. I want to go first match with Stan Lane, and I want you in the corner because I want to get this over with now.
You ought to be used to God. I hear your entrance music is a Star Spangled Banner punk. You're nothing but a lowlife. You're a stinking, like I said, a second-rate Julio Iglesias, a low-rent Latin lover boy, and Sweet Stan Lane, the gangster of love, March the 2nd. He's going to take you out. You know what you ought to do?
Tell me what I should do. Come on.
You ought to take a couple of those dogs that you go out with, and you ought to breed them, and you ought to open you a pet shop so you can make some money.
Didn't you just marry one of them?
No money in wrestling.
Didn't you just marry one of them women? My rejects. Would Stan hand her down to you?
Hey, all I got to say to you is, and all I got to say to Joe Goodhart and everybody else there in Philadelphia, everybody knows how great Sweet Stan Lane is. Everybody knows I'm the best manager in wrestling, and everybody knows on March the 2nd, when Stan Lane gets in the ring with Al Perez, there's going to be no doubt in anybody's mind who the best wrestler is, who the best lover boy is, and who the real heartthrob in professional wrestling is, because Sweet Stan Lane is going to take you out, Perez.
Be here with that hairless boy, Stan Lane. Be here with him.
Oh, don't worry, I will. If Goodhart ever gets my tickets in the mail, what's the matter with you, Goodhart?
Oh, the tickets are in the mail. This is a match that I'll tell you something. When we sit down, and I sit down with the committee from the TWA and put these cards together, and at the time, obviously, Stan was at a luncheon, if I remember correctly. We had signed Al Perez to an open contract, and we were sitting at a luncheon that we had with the Midnight Express, and sure enough, put it to Stan if he'd like to wrestle Al Perez, and he agreed. And so that match has been formed, first time ever. The battle, they're calling it up here, the Battle of the Sex Gods. Do you consider?
you just love that.
It's only a one-sided match there,
Do
baby.
you consider yourself a sex guy, Jim?
Do I?
He appeals to everybody, including that racket.
What did he say? What did he say? I can't understand that accent of his.
How close to you are they? How close are you to that racket, Jim? Come on, tell me about it.
I'm about as close to it right now as you're going to be March the 2nd. You're going to be so close to that racket, it's going to be a part of you, Perez. You're
Yeah.
going to walk around with that racket. You're going to look like a beaver with a tail sticking out. That's exactly how close you're going to be to that racket.
That sounds real good, Jim. Just be down here on the 2nd. I want to get this over with.
It's going to be at the Civic Center. I'm fully aware how to get to that building. I've been there many times. I've been in the main event many times. I've sold that place out many times, Perez. That's more than I can say for you. The only thing
You may have done it, but what has Stan done? What has Stan sold out? He hasn't sold out his front porch.
Yeah, let me tell you something. Sweet Stan Lane has sold out arenas from coast to coast, and he's sold out hotel rooms from border to border, too, brother. I got news for you. He don't have a little black book. He's got a 3-volume set big as a Trenton, New Jersey phone directory. Like I say, this is not only a battle of wrestling, this is a battle to prove a point about who really has the hearts throbbing of all the women across the country. And I'm saying it's Sweet Stan Lane, and I know there's going to be signs, there's going to be posters, there's going to be banners and pennants. Everybody's saying that Sweet Stan Lane is the sexiest wrestler on the face of the earth. You might have a couple signs there, too,
The
Perez.
sexiest one.
You might
Come on.
Yeah, you might have a couple of signs there, too. You might have some people having some signs there. Al, pay your back child support, and it'd be a big, fat, 250-pound Chicano woman. That's what you're going to have there.
All right, well, I guess what we're going to do at this point, we'll take a break, but I want to thank Jim for calling in, wherever you're calling from, Jim. I do appreciate you calling in, and, of course, Stan Lane with Jim Cornette up against Al Perez at Winter Challenge 2, March 2nd. And, Jim, I guess I'll say I look forward to seeing you up here March 2nd.
Well, I guess you'll
Be
see it.
here.
I guess everybody else is going to be saying it, too, except for Al Perez.
Be here. I'm
I'll be
looking forward to it,
the
Jim. I'm looking forward to having you in the ring. Right there, so I can get my hands on you, too. Right when I finish with Stan Lane. Come on.
Don't bite off more than you can chew, and Goodhart, I'll talk to you later on.
You got it, Jimmy. Thanks for calling in, and we're listening to 610 WIP. Oh, that's going to be... And you want this match to be the first match?
I wanted first match. They wanted to take this and get it over with real quick. That way I could have a piece of Jim Cornette myself.
Boy, what a way to get Winter Challenge 2 started. Holy mackerel. Saturday, March 2nd at the Philadelphia Civic Center, Pennsylvania Hall, 745-8315 for the Battle of the Sex Gods. We'll be talking about the card a little bit later on, the entire card. But if you call now, the phones are being manned. Make your ticket reservations now. We'll be right back here at 610 WIP's Rasslin Radio.
610 WIP Philadelphia.
Nissan started a few years ago with cold-rolled steel and a hot idea to build the best. The result was the Turbo Z, and a revolution as Nissan kept on building the best. The best sports sedan Maxima, the best sports utility vehicle, the 4-door Pathfinder, the best sports car value, 240SX, and the best of performance, styling, and affordability in a sedan, the new Nissan Sentra. In 2 short years, an entirely new lineup of cars that captured the imagination of people who love to drive and the highest honors the press has to offer. With Nissan Turbo Z and Sentra SER making Car and Driver's 10 Best list, Z, Turbo Z, Maxima, and Sentra XE capturing 4 out of Road and Track's 10 Best in category, and 240SX and Turbo Z named Automobile Magazine All-Stars. 17 major awards in the last 2 years, more than any other car maker. Nissan. We started out making a car. We ended up making history.
Bar Wars 3, February 24th, Sunday afternoon, Philadelphia Original Sports Bar. All ages are allowed to be at Bar Wars 3. That's the Philadelphia Original Sports Bar. Sunday afternoon, February 24th, 12 noon start. Be there for Bar Wars 3. As I said before, all ages, under 21, over 21, be there at Bar Wars 3. Philadelphia Original Sports Bar, Sunday, February 24th. Be there.
Let me tell you a story about Squires Travel in the Squared Circle. A while back, I had to go down to Atlanta to some meeting with the NWA. I called John Ruder at home. I needed to put a trip together for about 6 people on a Wednesday. Well, he went into the office that Sunday. He did it all, and that's why they're called Squires Travel Service. You call them for anything: air travel, resort information, cruises, out of town, anything you want, Squires Travel will do it, and they'll do whatever it takes to get it for you. They've got 3 locations: at the Bellevue Hotel at Broad and Walnut, at One Penn Center at 17th and JFK, and at the Adams Mark Hotel office on Sea Line Avenue, where I go, where you'll find John Ruder. I call him the Ric Flair of travel because the guy is a true professional. He's probably working on a Squared Circle trip right now to Memphis, or have a trip coming up May 19th to Atlanta for a pay-per-view, or bringing wrestlers in for the TWA cards that are coming up. The guy is busy all the time. Just call him at 215-473-2828. Or if you can't remember that number, just dial GREAT AT. It's 215-GREAT-AT. And talk to Squires Travel and John about your next vacation, or even call him and talk professional wrestling. The guy's got time for you. That's 215-GREAT AT at Squires Travel. They're a proud member of the Squared Circle Fan Club. This week's Squires Travel specials, 50% off at the Crystal Palace Hotel in Nassau from now to April 13th. Space is limited, so call Squires Travel now. Begin a great vacation today. Call John Reuter, 473-2828 for Squires Travel. You're having a birthday party for a child, and you're looking for something different. Well, how about a wrestling birthday party? That's right, the Squared Circle, in conjunction with the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance and Ringmasters Wrestling School, can have your child inside a wrestling ring for his birthday party. Live professional wrestlers, a wrestling match, and your friends will have a great time at the Squared Circle birthday party. 745-8315 for information and details to give your kid the best birthday present they've ever had. Very special bowl-a-thon. That's right, Sunday, March 3rd, the Squared Circle is conducting a bowl-a-thon with two very special hosts, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and Missy Hyatt. That's right, the two of them are back together for the Squared Circle bowl-a-thon, Sunday, March 3rd, 12 noon at the Boulevard Lanes, Northeast Philadelphia. Reservations are a must for Missy Hyatt and Eddie Gilbert at the Squared Circle Bowl-a-thon. 745-8315 for reservations for Missy Hyatt and Eddie Gilbert.
Talk skiing on the Mike Rubin Ski Show, Saturday mornings at 7 on
All sports for the Delaware Valley, WIP.
All right, we're back here at 610 WIP's Rasslin Radio in Pennsylvania, 5920610. New Jersey 9630610, and LaBelle Atlantic Mobile System. It's a free call, but just dialing star 610. And one of our callers called in during the commercial and wanted us to go down the full lineup of Winter Challenge 2, Saturday, March 2nd at 7:30 p.m. at the Philadelphia Civic Center of Pennsylvania Hall. How about if I mention the matches, Al, and you can kind of comment on each of these matches? The main event, first time ever, an audience participation lumberjack match between Terry Funk and Jerry Lawler.
Well, the winner of that, I have to say, is going to be the people.
Yep.
The people who get involved in that's going to be the lumberjack, you said?
Lumberjacks.
Well, that's going to be your winner right there. I think Terry Funk's going to take it.
Well, I'll tell you, I've been having conversations with the Jarretts down at the USWA. If Terry Funk is still the heavyweight champion at that time, or if Jerry Lawler should defeat Terry Funk between now and then, we might have that as a USWA heavyweight title match. Terry Funk, the current champion, Jerry Lawler, the former champion. And the way the lumberjack match is going to work, as you enter the building, there will be forms if you're over the age of 21 to fill out with your name, address, phone number if you'd like to be a lumberjack, obviously an insurance waiver. And then after the second match, we're going to do the drawing live from the ring, and 12 lucky fans at Winter Challenge 2 will be the lumberjacks during that match. First time this ever happened. It's going to be a classic. In a match I'm calling Goodhart Delivers. I promised this on the radio 5 years ago when we were still at WTTM in Trenton. I always wanted to see a match between Abdul the Butcher and the original Sheik, and we're bringing it here to Philadelphia for the first time.
Wow, you know, you're talking about blood and guts with that match. That one there is hard to call a winner on. I think, on that match, well, I hate to go with Abdul. I don't have any idea on that one.
That's, you know, one of the tapes that come out of Puerto Rico has a match between you and Abdul the Butcher when he rammed you against the truck. If you remember this white mobile truck.
There was a cameraman on top of this truck, and he almost took a bump down.
Boy, there was a lot of blood in that one. In a Russian chain match, as we announced here last week, Nikita Koloff will be going up against his uncle, Ivan Koloff.
Well, you know, I've wrestled Nikita in a Russian chain match before, and he's pretty good with that chain, but if you don't forget, Ivan's the one who taught Nikita everything he knows about wrestling, and especially with the chain match.
It's going to be student versus teacher, uncle versus nephew. It's going to be a very, very interesting match.
Yeah.
In a pins count anywhere in the building, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert comes back to Philadelphia and renews his feud with Cactus Jack.
Well, Eddie Gilbert's got a lot more experience than Cactus Jack, but Cactus Jack has a lot more size, and I would have to go with Eddie Gilbert.
Interesting, because Eddie Gilbert pinned Cactus Jack last time in the opening match at Armageddon. In this match, when you get pins count anywhere in the building, if you've ever been to any of our TWA cards, when we say pins count anywhere in the building, we're talking anywhere. Stan Lane with Jim Cornette up against Latin heartthrob Al Perez.
Well, I have to put my money on myself because when I get finished with Stan Lane, that's when I'm going to take out my frustrations on Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette's always had a big mouth, and he knows when to run it. Now Stan Lane is the one that's going to be backing him, fighting his battles. Come on, I used to defend Gary Hart all the time. I would stand behind him with no doubt. But Stan Lane, you're biting off a little bit too much you can chew because Jim Cornette put you in a wrong position right now.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, my Lord. And they want to be opening match yet.
Opening match.
Barbed wire match. We've got a barbed wire match. Two of our local wrestlers, Johnny Hotbody versus Hitman Tony Stetson. Both of you met at the last card. And this is going to be one of those matches. It's a feud that's just boiling. And now we're getting into barbed wire.
Well, you know, I've been in a barbed wire match myself. And believe it or not, there is no winner on that because that barbed wire tears both men apart.
All right, in a TWA title match, our champion DC Drake, who's managed by Woman, who's also accompanied to the ring by Devious Donnie Allen, will be going up against the winner of the Ringmaster Rumble. It's going to be a 15 to 20 man. We still haven't come up with the full list of people in the Rumble yet. Similar to the Royal Rumble the WWF has, where a wrestler enters the ring. The WWF, it's every 2 minutes. With ours, it'll be every minute. The winner of this Royal Rumble will get a title shot in the second half of the card, going up against DC Drake.
Well, you know, I can't really say a whole bunch about that type of match. I've never been involved in it. But anytime you got a title match, the competition is going to be great.
All right, and that's Winter Challenge 2, Saturday, March 2nd, 7:30 p.m., Philadelphia Civic Center, Pennsylvania Hall. Get your tickets now. They're $12, $15, and $25. Good seats still remain. In fact, in this building, it really isn't a bad seat in the whole house. Excuse me, it'll be the largest independent card in the history of Pennsylvania. In fact, every card we do is larger than the one before, so we keep getting bigger. That's the Philadelphia Civic Center, Pennsylvania Hall, 745-8315. Call right now. The phones are being manned to make your ticket reservations. How about if we go to Northeast Philadelphia? Ed, you're on 610 WIP. Yo, Ed.
I have fed Steiner that was very rude that did to them poor handicapped children. I mean, it's disgusting. They lost a fan for that.
Well, I'm not sure which is worse. The Steiners who told me up until the last second that they were going and didn't show, or Sting who came right out when he walked in the door and said, hey, I'm not going over there.
Well, that's true. I have to say both of them.
At least Sting had a little bit of honesty, you know?
Okay, and me talking about Sting. Okay, now that Sting lost his belt and Ultimate Warrior lost his belt, do you think that there's a chance for a Blade Runner reunion?
Not really. I think both of them have contracts with their respective organizations. In fact, the WWF announced this week that one of the matches at WrestleMania will be Randy Savage against the Ultimate Warrior in a retirement match. So one of the two wrestlers is looking to get some time off, I suspect.
The Ultimate Warrior.
Well, I don't know. Randy Savage has been on tour for a long time, and, you know, again, the WWF has openly said that everything they do is predetermined, so I guess somebody wants to take some time off.
Okay, now I have a question for Al.
Yes.
Okay, how you doing, Al? I have to congratulate you for two of your career appointments, one for leaving the WWF and one for getting rid of Gary Hart. And another thing, what are your goals or achievements as far as title shots?
Well, first of all, getting out of the WWF was one of my best moves. One of my worst ones was getting involved with WWF.
Right.
Gary Hart, I still keep pretty close to Gary Hart myself. You know, we always talk about my goals. I'm going to get back into it. I've taken some time off, and it's about time I get back on the road. And right now I'm talking to Joe about putting me on his cards.
All right. Well, whatever you do, congratulations. I hope you get a belt.
Hey, we thank you for calling.
All right, no problem. See you later.
All right, take care. All right, we're going to go out to West Oak Lane, and Renee, you're on 610 WIP.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I just wanted to talk to Al Perez. I think that you are gorgeous. Sweet Stan Lane has nothing on you, okay?
Thank you.
Don't you have to worry about it, baby. I'm going to be there cheering you on. I got season tickets, and I'm going to be right there in the stands.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. And why don't you come up and meet me in person, that way I can meet you, too.
I will. I'll be right there. You kick his butt, and I want you to get a hold of Jim Cornette, too. And he doesn't know what he's talking about.
If I get my hands on him, everybody in the building is going to know what his behind looks like.
Hey, thanks for calling. All right, we'll see you at Winter Challenge 2. We go to West Philadelphia. And Craig, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Hi.
How you doing?
Fine. I called 2 weeks ago. Remember?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. What can we do for you?
Yeah, I want to ask 2 questions.
Go ahead.
Have you heard of these wrestlers in the 60s called Rip Hulk and Swede Hansen?
Yes.
Yeah, and have you heard of George Becker and Johnny Weaver, and they wrestled in the Carolinas?
Sure, Johnny Weaver, sure. In fact, Johnny Weaver did TV for the Crockett's for a long time. We thank you for calling. Williamstown, Jamie, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Hi, Joe. Good morning.
Good morning.
Last week on the main event, Arn Anderson beat V-Man for the television belt.
Yes, he did.
And Diamond Dallas Page who's his tag team going against Doom?
Well, I'm not sure. I suspect that he's going to be coming out with the Freebirds.
Okay, Joel, you're doing a good job.
Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. All right. I like when someone at a young age tells me I'm doing a good job. All right. Brookhaven. Jim, you're on Rasslin Radio.
What do you say, guy?
What's happening?
All right, you're happening. I want to say hi to Al. How you doing, buddy?
How you doing, Jim? How you doing?
I'm so glad to hear you. Listen, one of the big things I want to say, first of all, Joel, is I think it's a total disgrace what happened with Sting and the Steiners. And I absolutely approve of everything you said on the radio.
Well, I'll tell you, I toyed with the idea of not saying anything and just letting it go. I spoke to the people at the NWA, told them very clearly what was being said. In fact, the show's being taped and being mailed to the NWA.
I was going to recommend that.
Oh, yeah, that's being done.
Right.
Interesting enough, in conversations with Gary Juster, Barry Norman and Jim Hurd down at the NWA had received phone calls and letters and faxes from people up here who were very, very disappointed. And, you know, it's not the NWA's fault. These guys are just prima donnas and they forget where they're coming from.
Right. Al, I want to say something to you. I think that you and Gary Hart absolutely complement each other. I would love to see you guys get back together, and I would love to see you and Larry Zbyszko get back together as you did in the NWA and have Gary Hart managing you.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, Gary Hart and I talk quite a bit, and he's running Texas down there, and I work for him once in a while now.
Okay.
But as far as Larry Zbyszko, that wouldn't be a bad move either.
Really, really. Joel, you want to think about these guys?
Well, I'll tell you, I had Gary Hart up here for a card. The last time I had Gary Hart on one of my shows was when my ex-partner and I did a card back at the Sheraton Valley Forge, I guess about 3 or 4 years ago.
I remember.
And the main event was Abdul the Butcher versus Bruiser Brody.
Yeah.
And Gary Hart was in Abby's corner. And I can only tell you the damage that occurred that night. So we'll get Gary on the card for sure.
Hey, Al, take care.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Joel.
Yeah.
Broward Power, buddy.
You got it. We got it coming March 23rd.
Right.
All right, take care. Northeast Philadelphia. Jason, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Yes, first of all, I want to say I lost all whatsoever respect for the Steiners and Sting. That was a very despicable thing they could do.
Well, they deserve everything they get. In fact, you know, on March 30th, someone brought up an idea to me. On March 30th, assuming that they're on the card, I'd love to see everybody at ringside, who are all squared circle people, you know, have posters and whatever. You know, Steiners don't care about kids and Sting, or whatever. I think they've got to know that the people of Philadelphia and the people around the world give a damn. And, you know, the Variety Club Telethon is the largest independent telethon in the world, and they blew it. And I'm not going to forget it.
Okay, when's Ricky Steamboat could be starting on TV?
My understanding was that he's starting back at the end of this month, which means he'll probably show up on television around WrestleMania time. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me to see him make an appearance at WrestleMania.
I was really disappointed about that. I want to see him go in the NWA. I think he still has it in him to go against Flair again.
Well, you know, I'd like to see some Rick Steamboat, Kurt Hennig matches. I don't know about you, but I think they'd be pretty interesting.
Okay, I have one more question.
Yeah.
Is Doom defending their titles at Wrestle War?
Don't know the full card at Wrestle War yet, but I would suspect that they would. I'm still trying to find out what happened to Teddy Long. He wasn't on the Clash. He certainly wasn't at the Civic Center. And the last thing I had heard was he just took some time off for a vacation.
Okay.
All right, we thank you for calling. All right, take care. Cherry Hill and Mark, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Hello.
You.
I got a question for Al Perez and you.
Shoot.
Al?
Yes.
Do you like being the Black Scorpion in the NWA?
Well, I wasn't the Black Scorpion.
So much for that, Mark. We thank you for calling. We go to East Greenville, and Jamie, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Hey, Joel.
All right.
I was the one that called in about the headline story during the break.
Yeah.
What if that was the whole headline story?
You lost.
Announced the card for Winter Challenge 2?
No. I have no idea what the heck you're talking about, Jamie. Go back to sleep. Villanova, Brett, you're on Rasslin Radio. Headline story was WrestleMania is out of the Coliseum because they can't sell tickets. They're going to the LA Sports Arena. What can we do for you?
Well, the last thing I wanted to do is get on a soapbox, but I can't help it. No, really.
Okay.
I've worked with handicapped kids.
All right.
And when they're disappointed, I mean, they have enough strikes against them coming into this. But when their supposed heroes are going to, like, turn their backs on them like that, I don't see, like, where the logic is in that for Sting and the Steiners. I mean, they'd rather, like, go have a good time. You know.
That's pretty obvious to me. You know, and I told the office of the NWA I was going to go in the air public with this thing. And I'm not one who pulls a lot of punches when it comes to the WWF or the NWA. Look, I'm very partial to the NWA. Everybody knows it. I'm very, you know, I speak about it. I talk about it. And even if I didn't talk about it, people would say it. But when something happens like that, I'm ripping them on the air. And I said it at the beginning of the show, if Sting and the Steiners don't publicly apologize at the Civic Center, on TV, or here on Rasslin Radio, until as far as I'm concerned, they have nothing to do with the squared circle. When we had luncheons, they show up, but they get paid. But here was an opportunity to give something back to the community that has supported them and pay them pretty hefty salaries, and they didn't do it. They were more concerned about driving back and partying a little bit.
Well, Joe, I used to go to hospitals to see handicapped kids and just regular sick kids anyway. And I'm not trying to defend them, the Steiners or Sting, but the traveling that they do is unbelievable, but it's not going to take long. They should have been there.
Yeah, even if they showed up for 15 minutes, all right, the bottom line is they could have been there. And in fact, as far as the Steiners are concerned, they weren't even the main event. They could have been there. They could have taken a quick shower, gone over there, spent some time. They should have at least made an effort. I mean, Sting came to the building. I don't know what the heck was wrong with Sting, but he came to and Sting has a child, and that's what really bothers me. And, I see these guys, and they have to realize that they're making a living with their body. You got to believe that they understand the problem that handicapped kids have, and there's just no excuse.
And they forget where they get all their support from, too.
There's just no excuse.
Well, so much for the little stingers.
You got it. Thank you. All right, take care. Yeah, a little stinger supporting Sting. At least Hulk Hogan, when he's in a town, they organize that sucker, man. He makes appearances at everywhere. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back here at 610 WIP's Rasslin Radio.
610 WIP.
The Squared Circle Fan Club, the premier wrestling fan club in the world today, is based right here in Philadelphia. 745-8315 is the phone number to get information and details. Become a member of the Squared Circle Fan Club. Now 1,500 members strong. That's 1,500 other wrestling fans are members of the Squared Circle, and be a member now. 745-8315. Call for an application. Be a member of the Squared Circle Fan Club.
All right, let me tell you about a new sponsor came on last week that was so successful, they called me up and said, look, can we pull our ads for a couple of weeks? J&A Circulation Sales. The J is John Pistilli. The A is Anthony DeSimone. They're located out of Bristol. The phone number, I want you to write this number down, because when you hear the commercial, you're going to want to call them, 215-781-3981. They're looking for crew managers. The recession's in. If you're looking for a career change, or if you're out of work and you're looking for another opportunity, and you have the ability to manage teenage sales force, you have transportation, you have a desire to be self-employed, they have the opportunity for you. In fact, if you have the desire to make between $600 and $800 a week, they're for you. In fact, their average crew manager, their salary last week was $725. I got to tell you, they're great people. I know a couple people who work for this organization, J&A Circulation Sales, and they're making money. And if you live in South Jersey specifically, they need kids between the ages of 13 and 17. So call now, 215-781-3981. In fact, don't call now. Call at 9:30. They open up at 9:30 this morning. Ask for John or Anthony of J&A Circulation Sales, 215-781-3981 or 3982. They're looking for kids specifically in South Jersey, but all over the area. J&A Circulation Sales. If you want to make some real change, call John Pistilli at J&A Circulation Sales, 781-3981. Call them today.
Fans of the National Wrestling Alliance, World Championship Wrestling, or whatever you call it, the Squared Circle's got ringside seats to the next NWA WCW card at the Philadelphia Civic Center. Order your tickets now and be ringside for the NWA WCW card at the Philadelphia Civic Center. 745-8315 is the phone number to be ringside up close to the action at the Philadelphia Civic Center. Be there. Attention fundraisers! The Tri-State Wrestling Alliance can help you raise lots of dough. Just dial 745-8315. The young and up-and-coming stars of the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance can help you raise the money you need. 745-8315 for the best in wrestling fundraising, the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance. 745-8315. On Saturday, March 23rd, the Squared Circle continues its luncheon program with Dick the Bulldog Brower. That's right, the one-man riot squad appears for the Squared Circle. See Brower Power in person. Dick the Bulldog Brower, Saturday, March 23rd, 12 noon, the Philadelphia Original Sports Bar. 745-8315 for Dick the Bulldog Brower at the Squared Circle.
Tom Brookshire and Angelo Cataldi, out of bed early and talking sports on the amazing AM 610 WIP, All Sports Radio.
You're talking sports, WIP.
Take a couple quick calls here before we have to take a break here. We go to West Philadelphia. Perry, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Yeah, Joe, this is Perry of Southwest Philadelphia.
Go ahead. What's going on?
I like your show very much.
Thank you.
Okay, let me tell you this here. I got some buddies. I tape your show every morning, every Saturday morning. I got some buddies in Dallas and Colorado Springs and Dallas, Texas, Phil, Bob, and Mark. And I send the tapes to them, and they enjoy listening to your show.
Good.
So you got fans all over the country.
Well, I'll tell you something. When this show gets syndicated and we're in the works on that sucker, they'll be able to hear us the same as you.
Hey, I'm trying to get them to come to Philly to go to one of your bar wars.
Well, I'll tell you something. It's interesting. We just got a ticket order for 4 people from California for our Winter Challenge 2.
Yeah.
We have a busload and a half coming down from New York City. We've got people coming down from Maine, Warwick, Rhode Island. We've got 5 people that I know of coming in from Virginia. So these cards are basically making a name for themselves, and they're the best thing going on the independent circuit. And our bar wars are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And in fact, our next one's Sunday, February 24th at 1:30 in the afternoon. It's going to be a ball.
Yeah. Well, question I got for you.
Yeah.
We got some tickets for WrestleMania.
I have no idea.
We've got them.
Okay.
We've got 4 tickets for
Well,
WrestleMania.
I have no...
What do we do with them now?
I don't. The best thing to do is call the Coliseum.
Yeah.
I have no idea how they're going to handle ticket exchanges. I know that they sold roughly 30,000 tickets.
Yeah.
But there's only 17,000 seats in the building that they're moving to. Don't even ask. I have no idea.
You think somebody out there in Radio Land would like to have 4 WrestleMania tickets? we can give them probably a pretty good deal on
I'll tell you what. Why don't you call Last Chance Tickets at 1-800-336-TIXX? Maybe they'll be able to do something with you.
Okay, Joe.
All right. We thank you for calling.
All right. Bye.
Take care. In fact, why don't I bring over to the microphone Bob Ortiz? Oh, now you're getting all nervous and fluttered and all. Oh, Lord. Well, let's wait. Let me get your microphone on there. All right. Today at 1:30 to 3:30, Latin Heartthrob Al Perez at your place, the Springfield Skating Rink. Why don't you give people some quick directions if they want to stop on
All right,
out?
we're about 20 minutes from the airport. It's a short ride. You go out 95 south. The first exit after the airport would be exit 9B. That's Route 420 north.
Okay.
Okay, you stay on 420 north till you come to 320 south, and we're on the right-hand side on 320.
Now, of course, if they're coming from down south, they would come up 95
By
north.
north, you still go on exit 9B.
Clever how I figured that out all by myself.
You did.
So really,
the main thing is exit 9B, which is 420 north,
and then to
320 south, and we're right there. About 20 minutes from the airport.
Is that easy?
That's it. Simple.
Well, I'll tell you, every year we have our Squared Circle party at the Springfield Skating Rink. In fact, we have a party scheduled for Friday night, March 23rd.
Right.
And we have a great time. Is there any admission for this?
$4 if you're going to skate, $2 if you're coming just to meet Al. And of course, Al will probably be skating. He did last time.
And that was a sight to see, I heard. All right, so for $2, they can come in, meet Al Perez, autograph.
Sign pictures, right? Have pictures taken.
Wow, and if they want to buy Winter Challenge 2 tickets,
You'll be there.
Well, I'll be there. I mean, why not? Why not stop by Springfield? There's nothing happening in wrestling. So if you want to be somewhere and you got nothing to do and you want to shoot out to the Springfield Skating Rink, we're going to be out there. We're going to party today.
Go skating and meet Al Perez.
That's it. That's what it's all about. That's Bob Ortiz. His lovely wife Lex is here. She won't come. You want to say hello to everybody? Hello. Well, they're Flyers fans, and Flyers fans. Well, anyway. All right, you're listening to 610 WIP's Rasslin Radio. Let me just bring you a couple updates here, and then we'll head out to come up with, I believe, Mark Narducci's coming up with Sport Talk at 9 o'clock. This Friday evening at 4 o'clock, our video bus leaves to the UWF TV tapings up in New York City, where reservations are still being accepted. Next Saturday, a week from today at 12 noon, our luncheon with the Honky Tonk Man. All you fans of the Honky Tonk Man will be at the Philadelphia Original Sports Bar at 12 noon on Saturday, February 16th. Sunday, February 24th, 1:30 p.m., and a special afternoon card, all ages allowed at Bar Wars 3. Saturday, March 2nd, 7:30, Winter Challenge 2. Of course, we've talked about that during the hour. Sunday, March 3rd, 12 noon, a bowl-a-thon with Eddie Gilbert and Missy Hyatt. Incredible. And that afternoon, we're going to have a bus to the Atlantic City Convention Center to an NWA card, so we're going to have a great weekend that weekend. Saturday, March 16th, a couple of us are heading out to Tokyo, Japan for the card, the NWA card at the Tokyo Egg Dome. Saturday, March 23rd, our luncheon with Bulldog Brower at the Philly Original Sports Bar. On Saturday, March 23rd, as I said, our 4th annual Squared Circle Ice Skating Party at the Springfield Skating Rink. And in July, we're heading out to Tennessee Tour 91. Make your reservations now. Again, if you want information on the Squared Circle Fan Club or make reservations for any of these upcoming events, the phones are being manned right now. 745-8315. Al, many thanks for stopping by.
Joe, I appreciate you having me here.
First match against Stanley. Oh, my Lord. We'll see you at 610 WIP's Rasslin Radio next week. Same time, same place.
The preceding program, Rasslin Radio, was paid for by Rasslin Radio. The opinions, advice, and information may or may not reflect the position of the management and owners of WIP Sports Radio.
making plans for K-Day. With Mutual News, I'm Dick Rossi in Washington. K-Day, when and if the Desert Storm Coalition mounts its massive ground attack on Kuwait. Defense Secretary Dick Cheney and General Colin Powell are in Saudi Arabia getting the big picture from Allied ground commanders. The air war grinds on, according to correspondent Steve Futterman in eastern Saudi Arabia.
It was once